In a world of glitz and glam, flashing lights and screaming fans, most people are unaware of the war that rages behind the scenes. And that war includes your favorite artist and your favorite songs. This is The Dark Side of Songwriting. Hosted by Nayim Edwards.
Always be alert to potential attacks and thwart them before they happen. Meanwhile, learn to destroy your enemies by opening holes in their own reputations, then stand aside and let public opinion hang them. Doubt is a powerful weapon. Once you let it out of the bag with insidious rumors, your opponents are in a horrible dilemma. Once you have a solid base of respect, ridiculing your opponent both puts him on the defensive and draws more attention to you, enhancing your own reputation. So much depends on reputation. Guard it with your life. Law 5 of the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. Before we get started, thank you to high-ranking fleet member Nicole for your financial contribution. It's because of people like you we continue to move in an uncompromising manner. Now, today what we're going to be discussing is extremely important in the particulars for people like Nicole who have their own production company, as well as people who manage artists and are responsible for anything that's got to do with public relations or how the public views and sees whatever the artist they're in charge of, responsible for, they signed, anything that's got to do with that. This beef took a turn for the worse when Drake mentioned Kendrick's wife. We don't have to go into the particulars and the details of that, because we all know what it's like once a person takes something too far. We all know what it's like once a person decides that this is no longer about sparring verbally. This is no longer about music. This is no longer about my particular issue with something that has to do with something that we're doing, i.e. the business that we're in. It's not business no more. You decided to cross the line and make it personal. People do that in all facets of life. It's inevitable. It's gonna always happen. But why this is probably the worst uptick that can happen when we're dealing with these high-ranking type of artists, and I'm saying these high-ranking artists, people who appear to be bigger than life, people who have everything riding on the line, and especially you work so hard to build your artist up. You work so hard with all these investments that you put into an artist. And in this situation, both of these people have a lot on the line, have a lot to lose when it comes to public opinion. Like we discussed in Law 4, people play the internet because the internet is a place where you are allowed to go be delusional without any type of repercussion. The problem is, once you start getting into those uncharted territories that no matter what you say, no matter what you do, it will never be favorable for anybody on any side of the argument. This is where the problem comes in. So by Drake making this beef now personal, by mentioning a person who's not in the music industry, by mentioning basically what I would refer to as a civilian, by making this about the wife, now you have did your December 7th. And if you know your history, December 7th was the day that Pearl Harbor was bombed. So now this is your D-Day. You have let me know that there is no more rules, there is no more bounds, there is no more limits. And people like to trot out that there's no rules, there's no bounds, and there's no limits to rap beef. And I agree with that. I 100% agree with that sentiment. The problem is, if we're just keeping it at rap, then we should just keep it at rap. You don't need to bring in people who do not rap. This is how he ended up losing the Pusha T situation, because he decided that he wanted to put out whatever the name of that song was, and he was like, I'm gonna make it ring on you like Virginia Williams will. If you know anything about Pusha T, his wife's name is Virginia. And that was the uptick and the tipping point of the situation with that. Now I have to come out and completely annihilate you because you have decided that you want to start mentioning my family members. So people in the Pusha T situation decided that, it was messed up that he mentioned 40, but it's not messed up talking about my wife. These are things we got to think about and talk about. Now, if you got a person who don't care and you feel like you can survive a tidal wave Cool. I'm gonna be for real with you. As a person who works with artists and works with companies that work with artists, and from the biggest to the smallest to the upstarts to the already established, most things your artists are going to be able to survive. I'm just going to just keep it real because I ain't trying to be here all day about it. You might be able to get away with your artists having some type of abuse on them. Now, not saying that the abuse, and we're just talking about physical or verbal abuse or something like that, or financial abuse, is not right, but I'm just keeping it real with you on how this works. Their reputation might be able to survive that. Now, they might not be able to be welcome in all of the places as a person who is viewed as a clean person, because we got to remember what we're dealing with Kendrick and Drake. Drake spent a lot of time picking at Kendrick within these last few songs about, and this is another thing that upticked this, and it hurt Drake in the end, especially with his reputation. Because remember, Rick Ross, even though, before I say Rick Ross, not conversations, I always, same old gossip reheated. Katrina Gibbs was the first person to say, oh, Drake is the white boy. And the white boy thing is a jab at the culture. It's not a jab at the race. It's a jab at culture. We know that the fan is just as much important in the hip hop culture as the person who's actually making the music. But we know that there's people who appreciate this culture and participate in this culture, i.e. alchemists. And then there's people who just come and they rip it off and then they run and do something else. White boys by Post Malone. So by Rick Ross coming out into this thing and making it cool to say this is a white person, a white man, a white boy, whatever. White boy on the record. You ain't even call you a white man, call you a white boy. Drake rapping about Kendrick's this aesthetic that people don't know shit about Kendrick come out and be like, oh, you rapping like you trying to free the slaves, and all these slave references and all this back in the day and all this race stuff coming out of Drake's mouth at Kendrick. It didn't hurt him, because it's just like, it is what it is. You want to jab at me and, oh, my beats sound like, a freedom marching or whatever. He didn't say that I did, but just making something, something that would jab at sounding like Martin Luther King and soundtracks for Jonathan Majors and all these things, right? That hurt Drake too. But Kendrick has a reputation to maintain as a more quality of an artist, versus Drake has this reputation, even though we know everything that we've seen, and this is the problem with the internet too. People act like everything just goes to some type of dead link. It doesn't. And what a dead link is a link that is no longer relevant on the internet. Like, it has old information that hasn't been updated. Still, it's no longer plausible to where we are right now. That's not true. Nothing ever gets deleted. Nothing ever goes away. Everything is somewhere. So when we have all these instances that we can see about Drake, even though he's been able to overpower most of those instances because of the internet having this short-term memory, having this bias, being wishy-washy, being flipping and flopping and fake, he's been able to skate past all of the horrible things that we've seen with all the little kids and all the abuse allegations and being a terrible this and that and all these things. I'm saying that to say that both of these people had reputations they needed to protect, and the list of things you really can get away with is, the abuse thing, being a bad person, being a whore, being a deadbeat dad. Nobody cares about these things if we're talking about what your artist is. Now, you don't want your artist to be that, because Drake was always, for some reason, by people who are casual listeners. And this is the thing. The casual person is the person that's the time you're going to be making the most money you've ever made, is a person stopping through. Your diehard people is going to be there. That's going to be your level out. They're going to always be able to listen. They're going to always be participating in whatever you have going on. It's that casual person that's going to be upticking them sales. Like, if this team and this team went to the World Series, it's not a lot of people with season ticket holders or whatever they call that for these sports teams. It's not a lot of people who participate and go into every game all season, supporting these teams no matter what. That's your comfort zone right there. But outside that comfort zone is the NBA Finals, the World Series, the Super Bowl, the Stanley. These are the times where you're going to be getting the most you can. And those people are not as invested as the people who are looking at these artists on a level where I know everything about them and I'm riding with them whether I want to or not. Those people in this instance will be like the DJ Akademiks, where they're going to ride with Drake no matter what. They don't care about what the other side say. It ain't nothing the other side can do. It's nothing Kendrick can say or do that will make this person turn on this person. Even though there's this weird thing with him where it's just like he's going to put it out. He's going to put the information out for both sides. And not only is he going to put the information out on both sides, he'll probably talk to your ops too. But when it comes to your artist, looking at this situation, if your artist is a deadbeat father, who cares? Nobody's going to care about that. If your artist beat up his girlfriend, even if he did it on camera, depending on who he is, it's probably not going to, it's not going to fare well in the public, but they can somehow, some way, they will find a way to be able to bounce back because they're always going to have people support. And really, that's creeping up the list to what we're getting into with this Not Like Us song that has put this man in his grave and has these record, UMG scrambling, trying to stop this no matter what, because it's bubbling, it's boiling, it's taking on a culture of its own. They can get away with having a bad attitude. They can get away with being a scammer. They can get away with a lot of things. But like I said, when you move into that uncharted territory, it forces people to pick a side, whether they want to pick the side or not. Because, oh God, I hate sounding like this, but it's the truth. And I cannot get up here and lie to you. If you have an artist that is abusive or is a scammer or is a liar or is a deadbeat or is a whoremonger or is any of these bad things, there's still going to be people that need to hear both sides of the story. There's still going to be people, even though there can be diehard, dyed in the wool proof, there's still going to be people that look at it and they're not objective. They don't care. They just not, turn it up. This is my jam. This is my bop. This is my thing. You know what I'm saying? This is my song. That's how they're going to feel. They're going to put the positive over the negative when it comes to these type of things, even though I would advise you don't wrap yourself up with these people. And you have to absolutely know the past of the person you're investing in. So when these things come up, you know how you can handle them. That's a whole different department. I guess I should talk about that for a second, because when you have people who have these sketch passes that it's not going to fare well in the public. So let's just say you got somebody like, I hate to use this example, but you have a person like Brandy, everything is right. They made a mistake. They killed somebody in their car. You might actually have people against drunk drivers coming out, even if she wasn't drunk behind the wheel or something like that, and making sure that they give you a hard time everywhere you go. Something as simple as that. You might have to deal with, you might be barred from certain venues if you have an artist that has a reputation for unrelenting violence. The security is going to cost you more. The venue is going to cost you more. They might take your liquor, being able to sell the liquor, and you might even, that's just something that's so, you won't even think about that could be a person not being able to serve alcohol in the venue because you have an artist with a reputation of violence could be the difference between you not even being able to perform there and having to go take something of lesser value because of the reputation of this person. Because why would I come to this concert? That's just on the fan level. Why would I participate in these things that is going to potentially not only lose me money because I need to make my money back and make a profit from booking this artist at this venue, concessions, everybody. There's a whole ecosystem when it comes to an artist's reputation. These are things without going, down the whole list of, pick an example. I always say that, pick something and stick it in that spot. But when you move to those things that if you pick the wrong side, this could mean the end of whatever you have going on, i.e. child charges, i.e. forcefully taking something from somebody that they didn't want taken from them. You're running the risk of never being able to recover from that. Get out of here. When you get to that uncharted territory that is the child charges, that is the forcefully taking something to get somebody's will charges. When a person picks a side on that, everybody start looking at you crazy. Everybody started looking at you funny. And because he was fighting Kendrick Lamar and he actually thought that Kendrick would not take it there because he was able to get away with it in the public for so long, and the public being the casual listener, because most of the people that like him are casual fans of rap music. They're not fans of rap culture. If you're fans of Kendrick Lamar, you might be a casual fan of rap music, but to stay and stick with him, you're probably a fan of rap and hip-hop culture in general, just because, again, like we mentioned in Law 4, that's more a stick to your rib type of situation. He thought that Kendrick wouldn't go there with him. And now that Kendrick has decided that, you know what, I'm going to go all the way there and I'm going to force everybody to pick a side. You will not have a choice with this guy, because if you ride with him with these kitty allegations on him, you look crazy, you look weird, you look diabolical, because everybody's going to think, what kind of freak rides with the 69 God? The FAN. He's a fan. Making a pure mockery of him. And this is what Law 5 of the 48 Laws of Power comes in, because it's like, I'm going to stick this on you right here, right now. I'm going to force everybody to say, are you rocking with the freaky ass nigga, the 69 God? Or do you, he don't have to come out and say it, but do you care about the children? Because that is not something that just goes away. That is not something that, especially since there's a full line of proof that everybody can see, that is right there, and everything looks suspicious. The lyrics look suspicious in these songs, like Teenage Fever and that song that he made about Georgia Smith. Was it Jaded? It's a lot of these weird songs that he has that you're not going to go back and take them down. You can't go back and change them. I'm going to force you to have to walk in this, since you decided you want to make it a person with me. And now you're going to be fighting for your life to prove that you're not a PDF file. Brilliant move. Like, when you think about it, brilliant move if you have to be the offense, because he's not gonna have time. He doesn't, and we saw this with the Heart Part 6, where Kendrick in his song, Not Like Us, cultural song, sticking to the ribs type of song. And this is where UNG, everybody comes into the play, because now this is becoming scary. When it was allegations back and forth of you being a deadbeat, nobody cares about you being a deadbeat. People look at it like, that ain't my kid. When it comes to allegations of you having a daughter, whether you planted it or not, neither here nor there, or having children and whatever, who cares? They're not there. They don't have to. That's not something where if you're a deadbeat, it's going to hurt me, even though in my world it does. It's going to hurt me if I still listen to your music because you don't take care of your kids. It's not going to hurt me if I support you because you went and got your body done and on a performance enhancing drug or rapid weight loss drug, whatever. He's on a diabetic medication, whenever there's here or there, pills on the bed, and people taking pictures in your house. And we're going to talk about that in another law, probably tomorrow. All these situations and all these things, they don't hurt me to, if I'm listening to you, if I'm supporting you, if I'm coming out and I'm waving that flag for you, it doesn't hurt me. But because Not Like Us is taking these cultural wings up and it's gaining steam, they playing it at the game and little kids dancing to it. It's got that West Coast feel to it. It's got that summertime feel good thing to it. It's funny. It sounds good. And it's just a whole song digging in your ribs about these allegations about you that, again, force people to pick a side. Who's going to come out? How can you come out and defend it? You spent your song running your mouth. Half of your song was, half of the time you was rapping, you were defending yourself. The other half was 100% defeat. And the fact that you're the biggest person in the world and you had to rap, I mean, you spent half your song talking about, oh man, this has just got crazy, man. I would be in jail. Yeah, I would be in jail if that was me. Yeah, well, Whitney Houston said that she was too rich to smoke crack. And we all know the truth about that. And my thing is, if it's not true, then sue the nigga. This is something as simple as being able to if I'm slandering you, if it's libel or whatever you want to call it, if I'm saying something that's wrong, sue me. You got enough money to sue me, sue me. The problem is you're not going to sue because once you sue, now we got to go to discovery. And all I got to do is pull up all the times you were being a creep. You were being a weird. So it's like nobody wants to defend a creep. Nobody wants to. There are going to be people who do it because there are going to be people that's delusional no matter what, man. They're going to go down on the sinking ship with you. You run off the cliff, they're going to run with you. It is what it is. It's inevitable. But everybody else in the middle is just kind of looking like, oh, like I'm not about to defend no pedophile because the people in their life, the people in their company, even when you start going up the ladder, and this is why it's a problem with UMG, is because if you got a Nike deal, if you got all this money, we done put up billions and billions of dollars in you, we might not be able to recover because you are destroying, like this is destroying our money. And this is why they're on the other side begging Kendrick Lamar to stop, begging people to stop coming at him. But more importantly, they're going to be begging Kendrick Lamar to come out and make some type, I'm telling you, they're going to be begging him to come out and make some type of statement saying that this is just music. He's not this, he's not that. Don't be surprised if they try to pay him off too. And it's probably not going to work because Kendrick Lamar has a reputation of being a solid person. Abuse and cheating and all of that stuff aside, whatever. He has a reputation in this culture of being, we haven't seen nothing that was not solid from him yet. So he cannot take a payment to say that this is rap beef and this is over. He has to go through all the way to the end with this as well. Now, do I believe that this is going to destroy Drake? Probably not. But I can't say probably not because this is, again, somewhere in the middle. Because if you're a Nike and you're supporting a PDF file, why would Nike knows who their audience is. So it's like, you can't have this squeaky clean reputation, even though we can talk about the sweatshops and all that stuff. Nike has this family reputation. The NBA has this family reputation. They have this togetherness, this team, this everything is supposed to be universal for everybody to participate. If you got a freak on the team, you have to get rid of the freak because that comes with more problems than anything. And this is why, again, we're going to talk about this in another law, why nobody's going to come out and defend them. And if you made it this far in the video, I'm going to tell you why real quick. It's because you don't want to be labeled as a freak with this guy. Because that can hurt you just as much. Because you go against Drake, then it's just like his side is going to say you hating and you falling for the bait and he's lying and this is too far and we should protect each other. We're not protecting no freaks. That's not, no. He's being made a mockery of, and now he got to fight that track because they understand music. They understand what those kind of songs do. They're fun, they're funny, they're serious, but they're not serious, and so many quotables, so many things in them. They're going to defend you, but then on the other side, it's just like, we cannot take the risk of this catching on fire. Like, it's gaining steam, like, it's smoking now, but we cannot take the risk of this catching on fire, because if this catches on fire, this could be the end of your investment. And this is what I wanted to speak on in regards to those of us out there who work with these people. You got to know who you standing beside, because everybody was okay with standing beside this dude after knowing how weird he was. So if people did not know, we'll give some people the benefit of the doubt of being ignorant, but a lot of people knew what was going on. A lot of people know you're being accused of being a sex trafficking PDF file, a weirdo, a creep. And the people who stand beside you after this point, they're going to be looking a type of way. And that's enough for this half man, because his stores is getting vandalized and all type of stuff is going on, and people are going to be making jokes. Like, this is never going away. They're going to be making jokes about him for the rest of his career, just because this thing has caught more wings, because again, he violated that first rule. You never outshine the master. The master is the culture. You were not bigger than this culture. This culture will turn on you in a heartbeat. First they love you, then they hate you, then they love you again. Then you beefing, then you make up and you beefing again, then you friends, then you foes, then you friends again. This is just how this thing goes. This is the cycle. But this is the part of it where it's the point of no return, because I can't play with that. And you cannot play with that when it comes to your artists. I would recommend don't even get in bed with nobody like this. And if they do something like this, you have to immediately detach yourself from them, because I mean, there's plenty of proof out there. You can go look it up, listen to the songs. I mentioned 2 of them in here. These are the kind of things that are gonna hurt your pockets more than it's gonna hurt that artist. Because people are gonna always love that artist, but when you gotta part ways, yeah, you might be able to catch a little bit on the back end, but we all know how hard it is to even catch any type of fire for yourself, let alone getting other people to catch on fire. So I wouldn't even bother. This is destroying his reputation. Like, it is destroying it. Because this is the last thing I'm gonna say. If he doesn't defend himself, then he did it. If he does defend himself in the wrong way, then he did it. So no matter what, it's a sticky situation. Fucked up, ain't it? That's your business. Like, you decide to get out here and you can't control your artists and you can't control their urges and you don't control them, and this person can't control themselves, because contrary to what people say, these people do have handlers. When you have a company and you work with these people and you're in charge of a person's career, you're handling them. So if they have any of these type of problems, or they're a drug addict, or something is wrong with them, you need to immediately start fixing that if you want to continue the relationship. I bet you wouldn't leave your kids around these freaks. So yeah, we'll be back tomorrow with law. I don't know what law we'll be doing tomorrow, but we're gonna do another law tomorrow. Yeah, this is the dark side of songwriting. Take care of yourself and each other.